How do you balance that desire for people to, not have broad swaths of clear cut that would be, protection against the fire, and yet still satisfy their hope to be in a forested area without as much of a fire risk?
That's the $64,000 question. A lot of tools now available to assess your property, to take into account the topography, the fauna that are on, I should say the flora that are on your property, and then draw up a plan to maintain the privacy and the screening that trees provide, or brush, but also do everything you can to minimize the potential that you lose your structure in a
So it can be done. It can be done sort of strategically.
It can be done strategically, and the point I was making was the most important tools are not necessarily a chainsaw that you use to cut down trees, but a weed whacker and a rake to cut grass, to break pine needles away from your foundation, and prevent the ground fire from having a chance to take out your home. This report shows that a lot of homes were taken out by ground fires, not by crown fires. Not to minimize crown fires. That's why you need to reduce fuel loads and be strategic about what trees are left in place and what trees are removed. It's a combination, and homeowners can directly affect the defense of their property in the HIS by doing those sorts of things. The land agency's responsibility and the county of Boulder is to identify what stands of trees and what trees would be better to bring down as opposed to remain standing.
And let me ask you this, Senator, just piggybacking off that question, the HIS and the defensible space we're talking about, 157 out of the 169 ground fire is what got them. Does that tell you that even though we've had this decade-long education about creating defensible space, that people either are paying lip service to it and not doing it, or they're just not doing it well? Or is the Fourmile Fire its own beast?
Well, I think all of the above. I think we're continually learning about the characteristics and behavior of wildfires. There are clearly examples in this fire and other fires in Colorado where people did what they were urged to do and their homes survived. There are other situations where people did what they were urged to do and their homes didn't survive. And then there are people who didn't do a thing and their homes did survive, and there are people who didn't do a thing and their homes were taken out just like that. So in the end, this is about public education. It involves all of the leadership that we can possibly bring to bear to educate the public as well. So I don't know if I'm getting punchy with your question there. But I think that's in part why we wanted to gather today, was to do our part to share the summary of the study that could be directly utilized by people who want to live in the mountains, love living in the mountains, but also want to protect their property.
And at the core of that, again, is defensible space.
It really is. And look, I think there, on balance, there's been enormous strides forward in educating people as to what steps they can take. I bet if you did a little inventory, drove up into areas that haven't burned, you'd find that people have taken the lessons and the tragedies of the Fourmile Canyon Fire seriously.